Welcome back to Night Shift Cozy. You're safe here. Let's slow down together. The path narrows as it leaves the last bend of the ridge, slipping into the hush of pines. Snow sits on each branch in delicate ruffles. It loosens now and then and falls in a small sigh, a soft puff of white that disappears into the deeper drifts at your feet. Your breath moves in slow clouds. The air is cold enough to nip at eyelashes, to pink the bridge of the nose. Yet it is clean and kind, with the faint taste of mineral and stone. Far off, the glacier keeps its own weather, a long, patient exhale flowing down the valley, steady as a tide. You walk without hurry. Boot leather presses into the powder with a muted thrum. The noise is gentle, half swallowed by the trees. The pines accept your passage without judgment, merely brushing your sleeves with cold needles, offering resin and its quiet sweetness. Through the trunks, the lake appears and disappears like a thought. Its surface is a skin of pale ice, mottled with milky patches and ribbons of darker blue. In the last of twilight, it holds a silvery light that seems to come from within, as if the glacier has stored the day and is letting it go, hour by hour, in soft, luminous breaths. You come around a final stand of birch, their white bark rubbed with charcoal scars, and the cabin reveals itself. It is modest, a shape of timber and window, gable low against the sky, roofline wearing a brim of snow. Smoke drifts from the chimney in a slow curl, the color of old wool. Behind the small panes, a buttery glow gathers, as if someone has cupped their hands around a candle and coaxed a room into being. You pause and you listen. Wind passes through the crowns of the pines with the sound of a brush over silk. Somewhere beneath the ice, where the lake keeps a memory of movement, there is a faint creak, a winter music, a kind that asks nothing of anyone. The world is not silent, It is simply speaking softly. Your shoulders drop a fraction. The weight you carried up the path loosens, not from the straps alone, but from something less visible, a long-held thought that decides it can rest here. You climb the 2 wooden steps, feeling the grain beneath the packed snow, noticing the coolness come up through the soles, even as warmth beckons inches away. The door latch is a simple iron tongue. It lifts with a friendly scrape. The door comes forward with a sigh, and a little breath of heat brushes your face, scented with wood smoke, dry pine, the faintest trace of beeswax. The door soft fire crackle, gentle cabin creaks, muffled wind outside. Inside is lamplight. It is not bright, and that is its kindness. It is an amber pool that leaves soft corners and invites the room to keep its shadows. It gathers on the table, warms the knuckles of a chair, slides across the floorboards, and rests in the grooves where years have smoothed the timber to the feel of old breadboards. You set your pack down. The sound it makes is gentle, a padded thud, the sort of sound a room accepts and then absorbs. Your gloves follow, placed one atop the other, like 2 asleep birds. The scarf yields its chill reluctantly, the wool giving up its hoarded cold with a little sparkle against your skin. Your coat, heavy with the day, goes to a peg by the door. A few grains of snow drop to the mat and vanish. You stand still for a moment, simply allowing warmth to find you. Fingers wake first. Prickle to tingling to comfort. You hold your hands out toward the little stove, where a small fire has settled into its own rhythm. It does not roar. It works diligently, the way a friend makes tea without asking. Now and then, the metal gives a quiet tick, a sound like the loosening of a tightly wound thought. You unlace your boots and pull them off, feeling the freedom of it, the gentle lightness that comes back to the ankles. Thick socks meet the floorboards, wool upon wood, and a conversation begins between them. The saucer clicks gently as you set it down. A brief, bright note in the room's mellow music. Outside, wind crosses the chimney and lowers its voice, as if remembering the sleeping lake. The timbers of the cabin murmur back. The place has a language, one anyone can understand if they are willing to listen. Grain, seam, ember, breath, the blanket goes around you. Wool against wrists, wool against neck. A calm settles in, not heavy, not a command, just a suggestion made by warmth to a body ready to hear it. You sit. There is nothing to do that cannot wait. There is no list here, except perhaps the one kept by the stove. Burn, fade, rest, begin again. The day has been both long and fine, and it is not required of you that you retell it now. You may let it dissolve, grain by grain, into the quiet. Why? From the lake, a solitary sound rises, a soft crack, as though someone far off has stepped upon a twig. The ice speaks in gentle syllables, easing against itself, shifting in the private way winter things do. You, Ted, find it comforting, not silence, but company, not stillness alone, but the small movements that mean life continues. Even when it rests, you tilt your head and hear air moving along the roof line. Warmth and cold speak across the window glass, each making its case. Neither argues. They converse. Your heart seems to join them, not choosing one over the other, but keeping time. The kettle hums. The brown bloom of tea unfurls like a small sunrise. You let the moment linger. Outside, the glacier wind wanders past. Well-mannered as a neighbour on a late walk, the pines lean in to listen. The lake answers with a soft, contented shift. Inside, the kettle begins to sing, and twilight settles like a shawl over the cabin. The world breathes slower. The amber of the lamp gathers in gentle pools. Light drapes across the timber walls, warm and honeyed. The scent of pine smoke curls through the room, familiar and sweet, mingling with beeswax from the candle on the shelf. A fragrance that feels like tidying the mind. You choose a cup from the row of mismatched ceramics, spoon in a little tea, and sit near the hearth where the stove gives its small, companionable crackle. Heat gathers in the wool of the blanket over your knees. The window is a dusky mirror now, holding the last blue of day against the first blue of night. Snowflakes pass the glass, feathery and faint, like moths drifting toward a distant thought. On the shelf are old journals, their spines softened by time. The pages speak of weather, wood stacked, bread baked, foxes seen, frost flowers on the lake. No urgency, only the honest circulation of days. The sense that a place remembers, even when no one is looking. Later, you lift a lantern, wrap the blanket around your shoulders, and step out onto the porch. Night air greets you with a cool hand. Pines stand like listeners. Stars arrive like quiet guests. The lake is a page of silver grey, sighing softly as currents slide beneath a thin edge of thaw. The glacier breathes, a low, soothing tone that travels through your ribs. Not a warning, sighs, the earth's own contented exhale. The air smells of pine and stone. Peace, you think, is full of gentle things doing their gentle work. Warmth, speaking to cold at the threshold. Wood, answering wind. Ice, telling time in the slow vowels of the valley. You stand, letting the scene enter you. Valley keeps its watch. The stars mind the dark. Vulnerabilities. Cabin glows behind you, like a lantern cupped in two hands. Relief rises, quiet and clean. When the chill finds your fingers, you turn back. The latch clicks softly. Sex warmth folds around you once more. The kettle has waited, not impatient, merely ready. A second cup seems called for. A simple grace. The lamp's circle of light feels richer after the night. The wool gathers warmth and presses it back. The eyelids grow thoughtful. Shadows deepen, kind rather than dark. The glacier hums again, soft, sure, a lullaby written in stone and sky. The lake answers. The pines hush. The night does not ask. It simply offers. You lean back, breath lengthens. The cabin grows quieter, or perhaps you do. Warmth and cold keep speaking softly. The conversation of the whole valley tucked into this small room of light and wood. It is enough. It is more than enough. The lamp is turned down once more. The room becomes a pocket of amber in the deep blue of the mountains. The flame steadies. A tiger lily fading at dusk. The door closes with a soft wooden sigh, and the room holds you again. The air is warmer here, carrying ribbons of pine smoke and the faint sweetness of beeswax. A woolen quilt waits on the cot. Beneath it, the sheets are cool at first touch, then gather warmth. You ease yourself down. The mattress accepts your shape. The stove is almost quiet now. Its last wood, a bed of red coals, whispering like silk. You curl the quilt up to your collarbone. The wool steadies you, textured and real. The room smells faintly of snow and smoke. The clean edge of the lake still in the air. Outside, wind has lowered its voice. The glacier speaks across the water. A faint creak, like ice turning in sleep. The time replies with tiny sounds. Timber settling, window sighing, shelf breathing. Your eyes rest. The amber lamp dims the corners and leaves a small island of light around the stove. The rest of the room becomes a coastline of shadow. A cup on the table, a loop of scarf on a peg, the book you didn't quite start, the low that each thing is content to be still. There is a little tea left. You take a small sip. Hints of smoke, hints of honey, the wool. The heat moves through your chest like a lantern. You set the cup down, and the click of ceramic against wood anchors you where you are. A thought drifts in, wide and soft. Rest doesn't always mean silence. The hush of wind, the stove's faint rustle, the glacier far away. Each is a voice, low and kind. They do not demand anything of you. They make a gentle braid of sound, a lullaby sung by the place itself. quilt warms further. Comfort climbs from your toes upward, unhurried. Your hands relax. The snow begins again. A tender hiss against the panes. The cabin, pleased, leans deeper into its quiet. You let your head turn on the pillow. The fabric smells faintly of sun-dried linen, of a summer you can't quite place. Even the glacier knows a change is coming. You heard it earlier. Water sighing under the ice. That memory returns. A thin, bright seam where the first melt meets the shore. The small, but it changes everything. The lamp lowers another notch. Your breathing appears before you like a calm path. The distance between breaths widens. The stove gives a small settling sound. Your body understands what to do. There is nothing to hold up, no story to carry forward. The story carries you instead, becomes the quilt, the snow, the warmth in your chest. A last ember lifts and folds into its own ash. The red is soft now, a velvet glow. Memories glide through. A path you walked. A kettle steaming on another winter night. The laugh of someone you love. Stillness is not an absence. It is a presence that welcomes everything and asks for nothing in return. A kettle hums once and goes quiet. The candle has pooled a lake of honeyed wax. You imagine the flame steadying when you entered, as hearts do when they find a room that cares for them. You sink deeper. The mattress lifts you like a raft. Fingers uncurl around emptiness that is soft. Words fade to textures. A wind. Pine. Ice. Wool and mild. Now breath. They become one. Rest, says the room. Not in words, but in the way the stove keeps faith with its last warmth. And the snow goes on, grain by grain. Rest, says the quilt, in the slow language of weight. You do not argue. The body knows a good sentence when it hears one. Is the slowest metronome. In, the cabin rises like a raft. Out, it lowers again. The wind follows, kind and close. Somewhere in the woods, an owl turns its head, and the night shifts to make space. Nothing needs you, and so everything welcomes you. Rest doesn't always mean silence, you remember. It means belonging. The world goes on kindly at a low volume, and you are allowed to be part of it without effort. Warmth speaks to cold, and both speak to you. Listening and being become the same thing. Under the quilt, you're a soft outline, then only a warm idea. The day waits at the threshold, hat in hand, promising to return when asked. For now, it leaves you to the night, who knows how to keep watch without fuss. The glacier offers one last small creak, a reminder to breathe. You answer with a breath that is almost a yawn. The lamp fades to a memory of gold. The snow writes soft letters across the glass and signs them with your name. You feel the exact moment when wakefulness loosens its fingers. There is no drop, no cliff, only a widening meadow where the grass lies down and the sky leans close. The story folds itself like a map until it fits inside your breathing. And then there is only that. The quiet rise and fall. The gentle house of your chest. The low music of the wind moving past the eaves. The cabin breathes with you, timber by timber. The lake breathes, ice whispering in its sleep. The mountains breathe, and their breath is the weather that tucks you in. In this slow place, being is enough. You are enough. The night holds you. The quilt keeps its promise. The embers dream their last, and when the morning finds them, it will find you rested. For now, stillness. For now, peace. For now, peace. For now, the softest drift into sleep. The night with us. Sleep well, friend.